Artsy does it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I need my clicker. Hello, I'm Sarah. I'm a senior machine learning engineer at a company called Artsy. I'm also a machine learning lecturer at several universities, but predominantly HKA. Artsy is the largest online marketplace for art. They connect galleries, artists, and collectors. That's me, that's my collection. I've highlighted some just so you can see what sort of recommendations we are making and how relevant they are. Today, I'm going to be talking about the complexities of the art market, different types of collectors that I'm working with, and the components of what makes a good recommendation engine. If people feel like they would like to contribute, my question to you all is, how much would you pay for a real banana duct taped to a wall?
Is it organic?
Brilliant question, brilliant question. Let's say it's an organic banana. It is an organic banana that you can buy from the most expensive supermarket in Berlin or Switzerland. How much would you pay for a banana duct taped to a wall?
10 euros.
What's that?
Depends on what the next person would pay for it.
Oh, I like that, I like that. But 10 euros, we start an auction market here. Anyone pay a little bit more? It's by the Italian artist Maurizio Cattelan, if that means anything to anybody.
No idea.
So this artwork here was created, as I mentioned, by the Italian artist Maurizio Cattelan, and it's called The Comedian. This artist duct taped a real banana on the gallery's wall at Art Basel in 2019. He sold 3 editions of this, each for $120,000. Actually, the third one went for $150,000. The owners of the... Brilliant, brilliant. The owners of these bananas, duct tape bananas, or The Comedian, they're given instructions on how they can replace the banana themselves and duct tape it. Here, we are talking about people not buying a physical sculpture. And actually, there's a whole really interesting story behind it. The artist did try to make sculptures of this banana. He actually has this incredible gold toilet in the MoMA in New York. But this was what inspired him when he traveled. And he said the sculpture didn't work, so he decided to put this on. But what people were buying were the concept of art here. So in this case, people were buying or spending over $100,000 to buy a duct tape banana, which you can all do yourselves. All right. Oh no! I didn't, unfortunately, I missed my image. There's a stainless steel rabbit. It's a 3-foot stainless steel rabbit made by the artist Jeff Koons. It sold for $91 million. A 3-foot stainless steel, so that was half my size. The reason I'm sharing these 2 examples is to explain the differences in prices that I'm dealing with. At Artsy, our highest auctioned or highest sold work was around $6 million, which was a Julie Maruto piece, which was a benefit auction. So we're not working with $91 million, but we are working with a large range of prices. We have on our platform pieces as low as 500 euros or dollars or pounds to anything, as I mentioned, 6 million. But this is the thing with the art market. People are willing to pay for anything. Just to put in perspective the type of problem I'm dealing with, we just saw an absolutely incredible example of how Zalandos are doing recommendations. But most companies that are providing recommendations, be it, I don't want to start naming companies, but let's say music engines or streaming engines, their goal is to show you a recommendation and your expectation is to click on it. You don't have to answer this, but how much do you pay to watch Stranger Things on Netflix? Some people, when I ask this question, think $7.99 a month, but the investment that these companies are expecting from you is much lower than what Artsy is expecting. The other, and I'm leading into the second part of the talk, the other thing that makes art very complicated to recommend, and it's also part of the peculiarity of the market, is each collector is unique. When they're buying art, or buying a concept of art, or spending a lot of money on art. They are looking for something that speaks to them, as Robert Pattinson puts it, on a primordial level. A piece of work that has its own life. Each collector considers himself unique, and each piece of art has to be unique. There are lots of different types of collectors. It can get very granular. But actually, the way I solved this problem at Artsy was to just take a step back and think about actually where people are at their journeys. Every one of you here, I'm sure, is interested in art, likes art. There is no reason why you cannot be a collector one day. So actually, most people that come on our platform are collectors. They love art. They just don't know where to start. So these collectors, we need to engage slightly differently. We need to educate them about the art market. We need to inspire them, get them to realize why buying art is such an amazing thing to do, or why they should be buying art. We have another group of collectors. They know what they want. They've done their research. They're just not quite ready to buy yet. This group, we need to potentially show potential financial opportunities for them. Be like, hey, a lot of countries, for example, offer these interest-free loans. Not saying Artsy's doing that, but just an example. But we need to entice them. They're close to buying. They just haven't quite decided to depart from 1,000 euros, 5,000 euros, 10,000, whatever amount. And that's a huge investment. Or they haven't found the piece that speaks to them on this primordial level. And then we have the most interesting group, the most data-intensive group. But this is actually our smallest group, the collectors that are actually collecting. Now, these collectors have incredible personalities. They have incredible collections, and each and every one of them has a unique collection. But let's, again, take this in data terms. Maybe we can split our collectors into different types of taste profiles. Collectors that collect sculptures versus paintings. Collectors that like to collect a certain nationality. Myself, I love collecting South African art, so my collection is full of South African artists. I also like to collect female artists and queer artists. So you can get quite granular with these collectors' taste profiles. But again, I try to simplify it. I focus on, let's say, price, for example. We have collectors that will spend millions, hundreds of thousands. We also have collectors like myself who can't afford just quite that, but are on the lower end. So different collectors also have different needs, and this is our most data-rich segment, but also our smallest segment. I don't say sector, sorry. So how do we put all this together and build a recommendation engine that serves all our collectors? This is inspired by the SAS model, the components that make a good recommendation engine. Ooh, and I can use my laser. Tweaked it slightly, but I think the components apply to most industries. Start with real-time trends. What's popular right now? Get market experts to create a list of what's exciting in the art world, for example. And then Calvin spoke about exploitation, exploration, but when I mean exploitation, I mean exploit what you know about the users. So in our case, if I know a collector is obsessed with a certain artist, show them that artist, show them the latest artwork by that artist, exploit what we know about, or what we know they love, or what kind of artists they love, or what kind of artworks they're engaging with. And then we get to the more exciting part where we can use traditional recommendation algorithms, collaborative filtering, content modeling, sequential models, multi-arm bandits. The recommendations world really is large. But what I wanted to share with this engine was whenever we talk about recommendations, we jump straight to the algorithms. We don't think about the components that are required. And then finally, and I think this is the most important part, get feedback from the users. We are building a recommendation engine to serve a need for our collectors. Maybe there are pieces we're showing that's not in their price range. Maybe we're showing them pieces that are not interesting. Maybe there's certain artists that they just ethically don't agree with. Why show collectors something they don't want? We also potentially show works that are sold. That's also not helpful for the experience. So the optimization part is actually the most important part. Show recommendations, get feedback, iterate on that. It's just breaking all the different segments here. If we don't have data on our collectors, let's start by displaying the very best artworks on our platform and use that as an opportunity to gather data on our collectors. As I mentioned, we have lots of different mediums, lots of different price points. We need to really be quite smart with how we collect this information. We're doing taste quizzes right now. We also have these collection pages. They're not perfect, but we're getting there. The goal of these pages are to collect data on our users. What sort of price points interest them? What sort of medium interests them? What sort of artworks inspire them? The second part, the exploitation part. Give the collectors exactly what they want. So in my own collection, I showed you there was this piece by an artist called Shaquille Solanki. I'm getting emails which are showing new works by this artist. So we call this recommended for you, and this is one of our most commercially successful Rails. And then once we have gathered the data about our users, built their trust by showing them we know what they want, then we can start really harnessing the world of recommendation algorithms, machine learning, AI, whatever we want to call them. This is what gets really exciting. We become the collector's personal art advisor. And I really do want to learn about how we can use reinforcement learning, because this is where we inspire our users. We help them understand what other artists and artworks they need to add into their collection. Here I'm showing an example of, well, unfortunately it's a little dark. This is an example of an artist that was recommended by one of the machine learning models I built. And this was one of my recommendations. It's an artist from the Czech Republic, and I absolutely love this piece. Haven't quite bought it yet, not on the market right now, but it's something that the machine learning model recommended, and now I've added a new artist to my portfolio. Well, will do one day. And then finally, as I mentioned, prioritize the collector's needs and keep iterating. Get feedback from the users, make changes, and keep going round and round in circles until you build something that's actually meaningful and useful for the collector. And I think I had my last slide. And my point that I would like to drive at is providing perfect recommendations is impossible. We are dealing with such complex collectors and such a complex market. There is no way to provide these perfect recommendations. But if we show users, we show collectors, we understand them, what stage they're at, build their trust, inspire them with beautiful artworks, we have a better chance of matching them with artworks that they will want to collect. And this here is a very famous collector couple. They spent their entire lives just they used to just use their money collecting. It was very beautiful. And that's all I had to say. Thank you very much, and see you.